Believe it or not, 30% of all internet traffic is from people checking out porn. More people visit XXX sites than Netflix, Amazon, and Twitter combined. It's one of the most devastating addictions that a person can face, and it's also one of the toughest ones to overcome.
We are bombarded everywhere by sexually enticing images. One of the major sources of these images is the multi-billion-dollar porn industry. Studies show that there are 72 million active monthly visitors to porn websites. And the United States is the leading producer of pornographic materials. In his new book, Clean, psychologist Doug Weiss gives practical and dependable advice on how to stay free from these dangerous traps.
Dr. Doug Weiss is here with us for more. Dr. Weiss, welcome to the 700.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
We live in a culture that is saturated with enticement in the area of sexuality, and people, I don't think anybody starts out on this saying, gee, I'd like to get hooked on porn. I mean, they think it's just a little bit and it's controllable, but it's so destructive.
It's very destructive. I know. I'm a recovering sex addict, okay? So I know. I've been free for 25 years. Take a polygraph to verify that. Freedom's possible for any man, any mom who wants her sons to be free, any wife who wants her husband to be free. Now, you need to get engaged. But Clean is the church's solution. It is our job to be the salt in the culture. If we can just get the guys in the church to stop looking at pornography, we'll be in better shape. And these guys, they double their income, they become better dads. I mean, once you're clean, you have the life Jesus bought for you to have.
The freedom he promised.
And the thing is that the enemy doesn't start when you're 50. He starts when you're 10 or 8 or 12 or 14 through the entry of pornography. And then you get hooked neurologically and psychologically on the stuff.
You're mentioning Clean. I want to say that we're talking about a book that Doug has written called Clean, A Proven Plan for Men Committed to Sexual Integrity. You know, this is such an issue for so many, and I think the thing that keeps people stuck in it, men or women, is the shame factor.
Yeah, and what it is, you know, when I was in Bible school, I was still sexually addicted. When I got saved, alcohol and drugs left instantly. But sex addiction stayed. Now, being in Bible school 5 days a week here and preaching twice on Sunday, I felt convicted. I couldn't get free. And that's because I was using 1 John 1:9. I was confessing only to Jesus. And I was getting forgiven every time. But I wasn't getting healed. And so many men and women are stuck forgiven but not healed. That's James 5:16 if you want to be healed. If I confess my faults one to another, then I can be healed. And then my prayers are very effective. And so what keeps us from doing the next step is just pride. And I would say, swallow that and be free, be clean. Inside every man's spirit's a desire to be clean. Every woman's spirit desire to be clean. But you have to be honest to get clean.
Yeah, exactly. You have to call it what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Bring it out into the light and let God do business.
And I've never heard a man ever be rejected by another man or his wife.
Well, today, I think, not only in our society, but in the church, that it's such a huge problem that people would gladly surround and pray with and stand with and support someone.
And that's the whole thing.
freedom.
If you get guys talking about, we have a DVD, a workbook, and the book Clean, they start talking about clean, they start asking the right questions. Terry, you can have whole churches starting to become more holy, more godly, not the double life. And the people that are supposed to be doing ministry are doing ministry because they're not ashamed, because they believe if you really knew me, you wouldn't love me. And the church is the rules are don't ask, don't tell. If we change that to ask and tell, we are going to empower men, empower women, empower families to be free.
Well, for a long time, it was don't ask, don't tell. The church wasn't ready. They didn't know what to do with it. But there are all kinds of groups and organizations now to help people coming clean.
And it's exciting because the church is finally in the war. Clean is our declaration back to the enemy, saying this is our time. We'll fight back and we will win. The church always wins when she knows she's at war. But for decades, she hasn't known this was a war. And it is, and I'm really proud of many churches starting clean groups or other kind of support groups, other materials, getting in this conversation so that men can arm in arm say not on our shift, not our family, not our church.
And Doug, not just men. I mean, I think as this material is so pervasive, as it's in film, it's in television, it's in magazines, women are hooked too. Is it a different thing for a woman than for a man?
No. We have books on female sexual addiction as well on our website, and for spouses of the sexual addicts and stuff like that. But in Hosea, it says, if the men follow sexual sin, their daughters will become prostitutes. Okay, and so the men need to get clean. Because if we stop buying, there's no need for them to be stripping and doing these things. You know what I'm saying? It's consumer driven. billions of dollars a month.
I want to say that people who are trapped at some point know they're trapped. I mean,
Right now, they know they're trapped.
Yeah, I
they
think
tried
so.
and cried and prayed.
So where does one begin? You talked about accountability a minute ago.
Yes, you start there. Start getting honest. I mean, of course, there's practice. And women, stop doing, don't ask. Ask your husbands, are you struggling with self-behavior? Are you struggling with pornography? Ask them.
Yeah.
And if they lie to you, you know if they're lying. Start the conversation when lust is a seed before it becomes affairs or strip clubs or other things that are crazier. Yeah. Start that conversation today. Revival broke out in one church. I told them to do that. I had the guys the next night. They had me stay over and preach 5 services next week.
Wow.
Just because the women got in the battle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So women can fight this too. But yeah, you know, put the porn blocker on your phone, your computers. You know, if you're struggling with lust, put a rubber band on your wrist. Every time you objectify, snap that thing. Snap your brain back into shape. Because the brain's highly affected by sexual responses, and you can glue to the fantasy world instead of the real world. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you got issues in your marriage, get help. There's support groups. We have 3-day and 5-day intensives. People fly every week for the last 15 years into our office, and they get free and they get clean from serious sexual addictions. So if you're just struggling a little, get started with clean and move through that.
And this is the kind of thing that becomes more and more serious the more you dabble in it, the more you allow it to control your life. It doesn't get better.
No, it always gets worse. You might think, well, I'm just doing a little, and then you're going to do a little more, and then you're going to do a little different, and before you know it, you're in my office.
Yeah.
Okay, no guy says, hey, I want to go see Dr. Weiss in Colorado Springs because I've cheated on my wife. Yeah. But if you're doing the pornography, you're sliding down that scale. Lust is a seed. It plants in the fancy dirt called man, and it grows to sin and death. Doesn't matter if you're a believer or not.
Yeah, exactly. And the big lie is, I can control this.
You can't control it. God's forbidden it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to hurt ourselves. And so if you engage in that, you're actually engaging in a process that will bring hurt to your wife, depression, weight gain, lower self-esteem, damage to your children. And what a man loves is what he protects. Yeah. And if you protect your secret, you love your secret. If you protect your wife and family, you kill your secrets. Yeah. You know, kill the secret. This is what's going on with me, wife. This is what's going on with me, pastor. And protect your wife. Yeah, it's going to be a hard month or two, but get through that so your life is free and clean.
Free, completely free, a brand new beginning, fearfully and wonderfully made, made in the image and likeness of God with the freedom to walk in it. Wow, what a promise God's given us.
Amen.
Let's not miss it. We want to thank you for being with us, and if you or anyone that you know has been struggling with this issue, we want you to check out this book. It's called Clean, a Proven Plan for Men Committed to Sexual Integrity, available in stores nationwide. And as was just mentioned, there is a workbook. There are sessions being held in churches around the country. Get involved, get free, walk in the light. Thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you with us.
Good to be here.